Today on the Topping Show, Elon Musk free speech tweet goes viral. Biden says the U.S. can't be trusted, perhaps a Freudian slip. Cornell to reinstate test scores on applications. Dollar General trans incident goes viral almost as much as the GameStop one last year. PepsiCo Q1 earnings are in. FTC bans non-compete clauses. Biden rally has about 15 people there. GM aims to make a profit on their electric vehicles by the end of the year. Amazon introduces a grocery subscription, and luxury kitchen appliance manufacturer Pirch declares bankruptcy. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and service company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day because he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have PepsiCo Q1 results are in, and they're actually doing better than we thought, even with the massive recall. Now, this is coming to us thanks to the good old Yahoo Finance, which is somehow still a thing. And if you're an OG or original Internet Explorer user back in the day, it was Yahoo or nothing. I mean, they were before Google, and at one point had a huge market share, and they could have sold off their company for $40 billion. Again, $40 billion. They later sold it for about $4 billion. Again, timing is half of everything in life. Now, again, thanks to PepsiCo over at Yahoo Finance. And they note that specifically, first quarter results have topped Wall Street estimates on both top and bottom line earnings. But, however, that recall for Quaker Oats North America unit, well, that kind of kneecapped them a little bit and put a damper on the sales. And again, they're called PepsiCo for a reason. I mean, if you want to call it by their full name, it's called PepsiCo Frito-Lay. So it's an amalgamation of dozens of companies that have been bought and pulled together throughout the years, and they've had some pretty big recall for Quaker Oats. And again, that doesn't cost the customer anything, but it costs the company a lot, not just in dumping product, but sometimes they give out refunds or sometimes do exchanges for new product. And then just to recall, just the word recall, some people are going to avoid the product just because of the recent news. Even if you did fix the problem, there's still that decreased perception of the brand and the value. So it looks like particularly Pepsi seeing net sales rise just over 2% for the first quarter, but taking a hit on volume. And they were getting a lot of pushback from grocery stores. I don't think the groceries are automated or kind of like a bad Disney movie. Well, those are all Disney movies. The actual groceries aren't coming to life yet in a dystopian hellhole where they actually rebel against us. That hasn't happened yet. That's a little bit of a grammatical error. Now, they did dramatically increase their prices. They actually had some grocery stores in Europe actually protesting. They boycotted the product because they had so much disdain for the increase in price. Now, so that's why even though the volume of units are decreasing, the profit and the sales are actually increasing. Now, for North America Quaker Food Division, actually went down by 22% as it grapples with a recent recall for potential salmonella contamination. So that's not great. If you look at the stock price for it, overall it's still fantastically great, going up about 2.7% this week, 2.48% this month. Let's see here. Looks like in the year it's down 5.3%, but in 5 year, again, hindsight's always 2020 when it comes to investing, it's up 39% for the 5-year trend. So, and let's see, trying to see here, do they pay dividends? See a market cap of $242 billion, average volume. Let's see. Not seeing a big, they usually have the dividend yield here. Seem to be missing that. Nevertheless, an exceedingly popular company. It'll be interesting to see. Again, no one needs this product. I mean, granted, it serves a purpose. I mean, it's a luxury food item, luxury snacks. I mean, a lot of people, they like it. But as we got unprecedented economic and political uncertainty, I mean, how many people are going to start to maybe finally pull back on junk food that they don't really need? Granted, they do have some waters. I know they own Propel, they own Gatorade. It's not just salty snack, products. Although I'm sure they buy a lot of salt in bulk. But let me know. Do you think, will sales actually decrease and to the point where the whole top line revenue also decreases? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, General Motors claims they're going to try to get EV positive by this year, which would be astronomically impressive, to say the least, because, again, EVs are a huge upfront expense, not just research and development, but also setting up the proper manufacturer, getting the new supplies, getting those big, massive batteries that are about the size weight of a Volkswagen Beetle or more. And a lot of companies lose money for years. I mean, Rivian is still losing about $44,000 per unit sold. Granted, they are technically moving in the right direction, losing less per vehicle each fiscal quarter. So, or quarter, as I don't know why I said that with a funny British accent, but nevertheless, they are moving in the right direction, but they're still losing money. Tesla took years to break a profit. Now, this comes to us thanks to LinkedIn. Got a picture of Mary Barra over there, who's the current CEO of General Motors. She's been there for, I believe, 10 years, and they specifically say that, quote, General Motors is expecting a stronger than anticipated 2024, including a positive variable profit from its electric vehicle unit in the back half of the year. The auto giant's $43 billion in the first quarter revenue exceeded analysts' forecast. Which, yeah, they make all, in terms of a volume manufacturer, they're the McDonald's of the automotive community. Even though, anecdotally speaking, like, they don't really make cars anymore. Like, they used to be known for, like, the Chevy. They had a couple, really popular compact cars and sedans. If you look at General Motors' portfolio, they're really pushing EVs and trucks, not EVs, SUVs and trucks, which, again, that makes sense. Those are where a lot of Americans are moving in terms of their preferences past couple of years. That is still quite a lot of revenue, to say the least. They also know that it reported a 24% jump in profit for the quarter, buoyed by reliable, sturdy pickup truck sales and solid demand for SUVs, both of which outweighed softer sales in China. Which, again, yeah, there's a reason SUVs and trucks are always going to be manufactured. There are a couple of people who actually will use their truck on a farm and use it as intended. Maybe 3%. But the reason it's so astronomically important for these manufacturers is that's where they make a majority of their profits. They are, the amount of gross or profit in a truck is almost gross in an impressive way. I remember when I was in the automotive community, if you sold a Chevy Cruze, which was the compact vehicle that they used to manufacture in Ohio, a dealership might lose about $480 before, and that's if they so the only way they actually made money is they attach financing and accessories, then long-term maintenance of the vehicle. I mean, compact cars are terrible fiscally speaking. There's usually a loss leader to get you into the brand, and then they hope you come back to the dealership and maybe buy a Chevy Suburban or Tahoe. Those huge vehicles, SUVs, those will have almost $10,000 in gross per dealership. And customers see more value in those types of vehicles, so they're willing to pay that money. So, I mean, that's, people always wonder, why are they making all these big cars, or SUVs more accurately? Because consumers want them, and they're highly profitable. Which, again, is why GM says they want to be full EV by 2035 for the whole fleet, and Mary Barra wants Cadillac to be full EV by 2030, which is disgusting and sad at the same time. It's the last good vehicle they make is a Cadillac CTS 4-wing Blackwing and CTS 5-wing Blackwing. I mean, you got a stick shift with the twin turbo V6, then you got a stick shift with a V8 in a Cadillac, which, I mean, it's brilliant engineering. It's a blast to drive. I'd love to own. I have the privilege of owning one of these days. But yeah, they want to turn that into an EV. They also know that GM saved more than $100 million by scaling back its driverless investments in Cruise, which, yeah, they're not. I don't think they're making that money back. That's their driverless vehicle that is famously known for running people over in San Francisco, which I guess it helps blend into the community. But yeah, it was so bad the city actually pulled them off the road, or more accurately, pulled their permits that allowed them to test those autonomous vehicles on the roads. And I don't see them making a profit on that anytime soon. They also know that it expects to sell 200,000 to 300,000 EVs by the end of this year, which I'm pretty skeptical to say the least. They also say that at least 10 federal lawsuits have been filed against GM in the past month over its connected car data collection practices that led to all the drivers' insurance premiums to spike exponentially, which, again, they'll probably be protected. Like, it's one of those things where it's in the fine print, but no one reads. From consumer perspective and brand loyalty, that's a great way to sour that relationship when they seem to be having fewer and fewer relationships. It's a cliche, but if you have, family automotive community, family in Michigan, you'll see damn near, a lot of those American cars are there because you get the friends and family discount. I mean, nowadays when I see an American vehicle, my first thought is police, because police contracts is where GM and Ford get a lot of, especially the SUVs. I mean, that's where a lot of the money is coming from. Now, I mean, 200,000 and 300,000 EVs by the end of the year. I mean, that sounds astronomical. That being said, they do have a couple that are really popular. I believe they actually have a picture down here. Is the Bolt? Ugh. Or is that the Blaze? Or again, they're taking names and instead of coming up with new and interesting names, they just say they're just rebadging stuff. Like the Camaro's gonna be an EV two-door SUV this year apparently, which I don't know who's asking for that. So it'll be interesting to see if GM can truly get a profit this year. I'd be really impressed if they can do that. I mean, GM of course has its own historic ineptitudes, but also EVs in general there's such a tremendous upfront investment. There's so many variables you can't control. You got to get the raw minerals. Do you think they could actually make a profit on EVs? I mean, if they could actually do that, that'd be a huge milestone for the company, and perhaps they won't go bankrupt for the 4th time. If you read the history books, you'll see they've gone bankrupt 3 times thus far since Billy Durant founded the company when he brought together Buick and Oldsmobile all those years ago. Other interesting business news, you have Amazon grocery subscription being debuted at $9.99, which, again, the magic of retail, there's a reason every price point is like that. It's because you'll think it's under $10 when, don't forget, you're always abused or stolen. I mean, taxed by local federal governments, depending on what purchase you're making. Usually sales tax is local, but I mean, Texas is 8.25%. So it says $9.99, so you think it's under $10, but make no mistake, it's more closer to about 11 when you take into account those other variables. And also, they don't even get to keep all that money because usually the credit card processing company gets their cut as well. But you don't see that on the front end. But nevertheless, Amazon thought, we're going to introduce yet another subscription service. Now, this comes to us thanks to Fox Business, which somehow still around. Now, specifically, this is from Allison Murphy, who wrote an article over there. Oh, my laptop will actually, while scrolling, I swear this touchscreen is becoming less and less reliable. So, that they also have an option for low-income households that do not have Prime. So let me see here. So they note that, quote, U.S. Amazon Prime members can now order as many groceries as they'd like each month if they pay an extra fee and meet a certain dollar amount. The additional monthly fee of $9.99 gives Prime members living in one of 3,500 plus areas access to Amazon new grocery delivery subscription, according to the company. The unlimited deliveries offered through the subscription was introduced Tuesday this week, applies to orders that cost at least $35, which, yeah, that sounds pretty much identical to the price point that they now charge for the free shipping for the online orders. I remember back in my day when Amazon first debuted, or more accurately when I was buying college textbooks on there, back in the day you bought real books on the Amazon. I tell you what, and you bought it wasn't the iTunes gift card, those are trash. You actually got the iPad, not the iPads, they didn't even have that. What is it? The iPod, which, yeah, time is flying. The iPod Nano was what I used back in the day, but nevertheless, they note that they can place delivery orders with Amazon Fresh and a Whole Foods Market and a variety of local and specialty retailers on the e-commerce giant site, Amazon says. It identified Rite Aid, Pet Food Express, and Cardenas Market as some of the special local and specialty retailers. Amazon said it'll give its Prime members unlimited 30-minute pickup on orders of any sizes, and 1 hour delivery windows at no extra cost were available. They also have priority access to its recurring reservations feature for Amazon Fresh and Whole Foods through it, according to the company. Let's see here. Oh, Amazon's not looking great on the stock for once. What is this? Well, let's look at the long-term trend. They're probably still fine. Yeah, of course. Long-term trend, they're still astronomically going in the right direction. No surprise there. Let's see here. They also note that they're going to have a subscription for those who are registered using EBT cards or government handout cards. So it'll only cost them $4.99 per month. Which, I'm not sure. I know a lot of people who are low income who shop at Whole Foods. Depends how much you get, I suppose. Truth be told, I don't think I've been in Whole Foods in years. But, I mean, everything is moving to a subscription. It'd be interesting to see how successful this realistically is. I mean, you have Target doing a very similar practice, where Target has their subscription service, where now you can do the same thing with the deliveries, and there's some additional benefits. But it'll be interesting to see how many people, it's kind of cliche. I think most people actually have gotten over that quote-unquote fear of ordering their food and having someone actually package it for them. I mean, Walmart's already doing this where they do the curbside delivery. Same with Kroger, most other grocery stores. So it'll be interesting to see how successful this might be. And it's gonna be great. I can't help but think it's gonna be great for Amazon, just even more revenue for the company. And I can't help but think it's not going to be that much of an additional cost in terms of the amount of infrastructure they have to build up or the amount of digital services they have to provide to actually make the wheels run, so to say. But let me know, would you ever pay an additional $9.99 per month for their Amazon grocery subscription? As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Going over to the Culture podcast, you have Elon Must Free Speech gets nearly 64 million views in the first couple hours, going, as youth might say, viral to say the least. Now, this comes thanks to Elon Musk's personal X-Twitter profile, and he says, quote, "Don't take my word for it, just ask the Australian Prime Minister." And if you're only tuning in, it's now up to 70.1 million views, and as the person standing in a fork in the road. On the left is Free Speech and Truth with a castle with the Truth logo. On the right, and there's a nice sunny castle, mind you. On the right, there's a dilapidated house with stormy clouds, lightning, and it says censorship, propaganda. It has a picture of YouTube, what's the graham cracker one? Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, and that terrible logo for, Facebook Threads? Jeez Louise. Yeah, that's their logo. Yeah, there's a reason a lot of these videos on YouTube are not getting, I don't know how much is really affecting my channel in particular, since I have a relatively small sample size in terms of subscribers. But there are a lot of large channels that are starting to see a lot of their views just dramatically go down. People like Tim Pool, The Quartering, you have Ben Shapiro. They have millions by millions of subscribers, but the number of views seem to be getting kneecapped a little bit lately. A lot of people saying they're not seeing the show come up on their notifications anymore when there are new episodes published. So there's definitely some trickery on YouTube, and truth be told, if you just misgender someone, they actually will down ratio your video, or they sometimes will blacklist it. There are so many rules on YouTube, it is comically abusive. Which is why I also post on Rumble, where I have 3 or 4 subscribers, now that I think about it. So, if you want to hear this more, go on the Rumble. Can't but think, Elon really is, it's interesting he didn't add Truth Social to that, because granted, that sample size is basically nothing in terms of the number of users, but that is one of the only other few alternatives at the moment. Granted, they're so small, maybe that's why I didn't even recognize it, and the other ones are pure propaganda garbage. I can't but notice on Facebook, you could always make fun of, it's cliche to say, but if you have Catholic jokes or Christian jokes, those will always be there. No one will ever bat an eye. Those will never be censored. But if you have jokes about other people with flags, the protected flags, those comments will all be censored, and the post will be taken down. You'll see it for a second, and I've seen this so many times. You see the image of the joke page, you click it, and it says it's not available because they took it down. Now, going to the comments, some of the top ones come from Luke Zaleski, our favorite leftist. Well, not really favorite, but I appreciate other modes of thoughts, even if I might not agree with it, because being in an echo chamber can be a little bit boring. Now, Luke Zaleski is, you can judge this man in a couple ways. His point of pride that he actually pins on his profile on X Twitter is when he wrote an article when he worked at GQ talking about how young boys should not play football. He also has a profile picture where he's wearing a V-neck as a man. So that's how he's advertising himself. As we always know, men should always suit up. You always look your best. And it takes just a modicum of effort. Now, Luke Zaleski says, quote, "The world's richest man didn't buy Twitter to save free speech. He bought it because he knows how powerful it is. Because he can use it to convince you of anything he wants you to believe. And the first thing he wants you to believe is that he saved free speech and you bought it," unquote. Now, granted, I think it's mostly just mentally vacuous and stupid, but 9.3 thousand people did like Luke. Now, that being said, 758,000 people liked Elon, and 70.1 million people saw Elon's original tweet. And I don't know how blind Luke is, not just intellectually blind, but maybe perhaps even visually impaired, to think that there's no censorship on the other platforms. It's not even a comparison. X Twitter is infinitely better with free speech. It's not perfect by any means, but it allows so many more diverse topics, so many more diverse opinions. A lot of people can't go a day on Facebook without getting banned or put in temporary Facebook jail. That's a meme in and of itself. Now, Luke Zaleski also says, quote, The simplest way to explain X is that tweet is propaganda. Truth is not necessarily... Wait, so Luke is saying, quote, truth is not necessarily equal to or tantamount to free speech, though it can be conductive to it. That's why it's a constitutional right. In Elon oligarchy, he has the bullhorn and no one else's free speech can be heard. If that was true, why am I reading your statement? I mean, Luke clearly does not agree with Elon, and yet 502 people did agree with that second statement from Luke. The statement that is still there. Now, scrolling down, you also have one bad dude saying, quote, we stand with Elon and we choose the truth. And it's, what is this? Looks like the truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. Got 3.5 thousand likes. What's this? Yeah, best moment saying social media and real life, and it's two dogs barking, and then the fence goes away and they stop barking. Got 3.1 thousand likes. Real Ben Garrison cartoon says, quote, this also works. And then it's, what is that? Wizard of Oz. You have Lucy from the Wizard of Oz with the X logo on her. She's using a bucket of water labeled the truth, and it's dissolving the Wicked Witch that is labeled as the corporate media. And that did get 3.9 thousand likes. Sock Griper says, quote, why are there so many people still censored or banned then? Unquote, getting 4.2 thousand likes. You have Gerardo Urciano saying, quote, miss Netflix. And it's Elon, as an African American, saying, quote, Elon Musk just the true story by Netflix, getting 7.3 thousand likes. Jameson Daniels says, quote, anyone who claims to have a monopoly on the truth is lying to you, getting 4.3 thousand likes, and yet another contrarian statement. Trying to think. Anyone who claims to have a monopoly. Well, he certainly allows more opinions than any other platform. It is interesting he didn't, and again, he's not obligated to give a shout out to Truth Social. I mean, they're doing just fine. They're publicly traded. It's helped Donald Trump increase his net worth by over $1 billion. But it's a little disappointing he actually didn't put Truth Social or Rumble on the other side for that matter. Now, that being said, I know they're debuting their own video software or bolstering their video integration so that they can be a more direct competitor to YouTube. I believe that's one of the intentions, is that Elon is going for an X Twitter. But yeah, I think he actually should put Rumble on the other side. Again, Rumble is just a pales in comparison in terms of the total sample size of people tuning into the app compared to YouTube, but it is still growing, and that is one of the few stalwarts of truth. I mean, Rumble is basically told, it's like very similar to Elon, when you have government officials reaching out to them, asking them to blacklist or censor, they basically told them to screw off. That's exceedingly rare these days. So, I mean, I think Rumble and X, Twitter, are probably one of the few last stalwarts of truth. Let's see here. Ray says this version seems to be more accurate. And it's a picture of the young boy. Same thing, but instead of truth, what was the original one? Truth and not truth. Free speech and censorship. Truth propaganda. The juxtaposition is he's claiming to be a religious one, saying, what? Oh. So he's implying, this Ray is implying that both of them are the same building and they're all Jewish. That's what he's claiming. I got 7.9 thousand likes, which I actually don't know Elon's religious affiliation. Now that again got 7.9 thousand likes. Gentile News Network says, quote, fixed it for you. And it says freedom of speech as long as it doesn't offend Jewish people. On the left, and on the right it says control, with the right being the different social media companies and the left being the shiny castle with the X logo. That got 21,000 likes, which again I'm not seeing. I thought Candace Owens made a couple of statements that were quote-unquote hot takes, and some people thought were anti-Semitic, but most people didn't, and those were still on X Twitter. Let's see here. You got Trump Army saying, quote, our enemies are lunatics and maniacs. They cannot stand that they do not own me. I don't need them. I don't need their money. They cannot steer me. They cannot shake me. They will never control me. Okay. I got 2.3 thousand likes. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Another advertisement. Eagle Wings says, quote, the freedom of one journalist affects the future of free speech more than anything else. It looks like it's a compilation video of Julian Assange getting 217 likes. Another Anurag Rahman says, fixed it for you. It's another one that brings, it says freedom of speech as long as it doesn't offend Jewish people. And on the right, it says control. Got 422 likes for that one. What is this? Another random one about robots. Let's see here. A couple of people saying they got their account suspended. And yet Crone is still violated for exposing a kid toucher. As Crone, hashtag was Crone Y Cal. That got 377 likes. Vince Langman also says the leftists can't handle the truth, getting 156 likes. So interestingly enough, I mean, a lot of people liked it, but here's another one. It says X is for the people, getting 804 likes, and all the other social media companies are bowing down to it. So, I mean, let's see. Looks like a lot of people did agree with him, but here's one. It got 1.3 thousand for this edit of the photo. And it says freedom of speech, democracy, and on the right is control. It's Putin, Elon, and Trump. So no, that is yet another contrarian statement. So actually, this might be one of the biggest ratios in terms of the number of comments that disagree with Elon. I actually thought it'd be mostly positive. And again, they got a lot of views and a lot of, I guess they actually just an average like ratio when you take into account that, again, 70.1 million people saw it. So it'll be interesting to see. And I certainly think there's infinitely more free speech on X, Twitter than other platforms. And I think they're going to continue to grow because of that. I think that's partially why you don't see Truth Social growing exponentially, because you have X Twitter, which used to be, completely, censor a lot more and basically just be completely for leftist. That's where I think the business opportunity was for Truth Social. Now that Elon bought out Twitter, there's a lot less censorship, thereby getting rid of that competitive advantage. And you do have Rumble growing. But let me know, do you think X Twitter is still a stalwart of free speech? Do you think other platforms are better? What would you change if you... That'd be an interesting question. What would you tell Elon to change if you ever had the opportunity or privilege to meet him? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, if I can speak properly, you have Cornell just announcing that they will reinstate test scores on their applications. Now, this comes to us thanks to and wokeness. And he said, quote, Cornell just announced that they will reinstate standardized test scores for admissions. Quote, students with known scores had better academic outcomes than the students without test scores, unquote. Harvard, Yale, MIT, Georgetown, Brown, Dartmouth, Georgetown, Caltech, and dozens of others also reinstated standardized test scores, unquote. They got 928,000 views and 12,000 likes, which, yes, admitting people based on merit, probably a good idea. You're probably going to have the best results of that. I know it's not an exact perfect indicator of someone's success in terms of curriculum or academic success. If they're good at scores, they'll be good at class. It's not 100% direct correlation, but I think a majority of the time it does. Although granted, how much is a college degree worth these days? That's debate in and of itself. Now, some of the top comments down here come from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, file this under, quote, things anyone with a functioning brain could realize. The woke movement has to be one of the greatest embarrassments in modern history. So many people virtue signaling only to end up eventually realizing how dumb it was. Sadly, some never learn. Unquote, getting 2.6 thousand likes. Let's see, scrolling down more and more, you have Sandra Lotif saying, quote, what are they paying for? Inquiring minds want to know. It says, gifts for American universities from foreign countries since 2012. Qatar has given, what is that, 3.2 billion. China has given 1.7 billion. Saudi Arabia has given 1.4 billion. United Emirates has given 635 million, I'm rounding. Kuwait 300 million, Russia 141 million, Turkey 81 million, Iraq 45 million, Lebanon 21 million, Pakistan 6 million, Venezuela 4 million, Syria 1 million, Palestinian Authority 1 million. 1 million. Now that infographic got 419 likes, and it looks like they claim the sources of the Department of Education, which, I mean, in some of those cases, we're just getting our money back from donating to their countries or giving them our tax dollars. But yeah, I would not have guessed Qatar. I would have guessed of all the countries, China, I think that's been a kind of cliche for quite some time, knowing their donations. Just going down, you also have Mace, and quote, since they removed the essay section of the SAT, shouldn't be called the T. Got 250 likes. Chandra Loftus says, quote, but it's racist for the test, getting 111 likes. Prophecy 13 says, quote, if the college you're attending can't figure out the simple action of creating tests to gauge your knowledge is common sense, you may want to rethink paying them to educate you, unquote, getting 454 likes. Moral Authority Complex says, quote, can we end the participation trophy generation yet, getting 244 likes. Let's see. Mike Sarsaparilla says, quote, color me stunned, getting 208 likes. Let's see. Pismo says, quote, are you shocked? Common sense hasn't been so common lately. Let's see. And Cornell Chronicles says, quote, Cornell to real estate standardized test requirements for fall 2026, getting 145 likes. We also have Robert Seffer saying, quote, anthropologically speaking, DNA and genetics, race, influence, IQ, behavior, regardless of socioeconomic standards, the same way the NBA recruits based on height and performance, and certain ethnicities are at a disadvantage, we can expect the same with academic aptitude. Unquote, getting 570 likes. I wonder if he got ratioed, if he looked at the comments who replied to him. Nope. So the person who responded was Cats Without Borders, saying not true at all, you need to read Thomas Sowell and Stat. And Robert replying saying, he's an economicist, I'm an anthropologist, go back to playing your cats and virtue signaling to someone else, thanks. So if anything, he ratioed that person got 4 likes, he got 78, which is a controversial topic in and of itself. The age-old debate of nature versus nurture. You also have, I like to think if you just work like hell, you'll get as far as you want in life. I'm not sure about academic acumen. I studied really hard, and truth be told, I had some classes where I really still struggled despite my effort. Now, going back to the comments, you have Orange Man Vlad saying, quote, who would have guessed that testing students matter, getting 102 likes. Let's see. Savannah said DEI cans aren't going to be happy, unquote, getting 45 likes. Let's see. You also have a lot of people doing the duh meme, which, again, it'll be interesting to see how many people still see the value in a college degree. We've seen this pendulum swing back. I mean, I partially blame the public schools for their indoctrination and the teachers' unions trying to brainwash kids, saying, in my class, they told me growing up, you'll only be successful if you go to college, which is bullshit, pardon the French. But I've met more millionaires and people who are fiscally successful who have just dropped out of high school and just worked like hell and started their own business. And people who went to college, including myself, they still have debt. Decades later? Great, I hope to pay it off soon. I'm still working like hell, and I try to, fiscally speaking, live frugally so I can keep making those payments. But I've learned more in the first year starting my own businesses than I did in all 4 years of business school. So, yeah, I would say if you want to study to become a business, or you study to do a business, just do it. And if you want prestige and connections, then maybe it makes sense to go to one of those top tier schools, or the schools that may be perceived as top tier. That's the only real rationale I can really think of when it comes to people trying to justify MBAs. If you want to go try down a traditional career path and a company wants it, they're paying for it. But really, I think a lot of the values, the connections you make with those people who are there. So take that with a grain of salt. That's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation, gotta be 3 cents. Though it is still free to click that subscribe button. Other interesting cultural news, you have Dollar General trans incident going viral, as youth might say. Now, I don't think this will be so bombastic, as the GameStop incident, where you had, a biological man who transitioned to a woman, and apparently the clerk at GameStop, they allegedly misgendered this person, and that's when the person, you could say they took some balls to do this, or a lot of testosterone. They exploded yelling at this young guy who's just working in the counter at GameStop and yelling, it's not sir, it's ma'am, which, again, did not make the cause look good and made the person look as irrational as an emotionally intellectual child. Now, this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok. And Libs of TikTok says, quote, trans person harasses worker for misgendering, it's all a narcissistic power trip. Let's see here, expand that. And my only critique of this gentleman is that he is not suited up. If you're just tuning in, he looks like he is wearing He's got a polo, he's got it buttoned up, but as we know, all men should always suit up. You just look better. Now, without further ado, his voice is infinitely better than mine, though I'm not sure about this person who's yelling at him. Let's see here. Come on now. The technology will work with me. It was worse than working in the test run. Okay. What's going on here? I keep getting, let me know if you have a suggestion. I keep getting this error when I'm integrating this into the video. Usually it seems to work half the time. Let's see. Maybe you just have to minimize it, watch it on the regular scroll. Yeah, the media could not be played. Elon, you're killing me. Just gave you accolades in the earlier part of the show. And you need to buy more servers. I should cold call them. There we go. I just gotta get the volume. Come on now. Let's see here. What the heck? Well, this is killing me now. Well, I was gonna say, the cliche in IT is it's always to blame the network. Interestingly enough, I can tell you confidently that is not the bottleneck in this IT problem. Media could not be played. What the heck? Alright, try one more time. Well, apologies. It looks like we're just going to have audio for this. I was going to say, I'm paying for the fancy Twitter too. Alright, so we'll just play this attempt to play the visual really quick. Let's see here. Settings. Copy. Picture. Okay. Why is this not working? Alright, so I don't even know if it's really a value to slow motion this. The guy's basically saying, I don't know what you said, call me Quinn. This person starts to yell at him, saying he's transphobic because of misgendering. Now this guy gets an A+ for marketing in terms of, if you're in PR or you're customer service, which I think everyone should be in customer service for a little part of their life, because you build a lot of character. And you learn a lot of things, everything from patience, basic business skills, but number one thing when it comes to PR and just relations in general, if you're customer facing, it's rough. It would be very difficult, but you're going to have to maintain your cool, as youth might say, when it comes to these challenging situations. And that's exactly what this gentleman did. And brilliantly enough, take out your phone, record it, so you can share your side of the story. So they can't manipulate the film. Well, I guess these days it's not real film; it's all digital. But nevertheless, you understand what I'm saying. That way, you can actually show your part of the story. And he's staying calm and cool, collective, simply saying, this is the information we had. It said your card was declined. You have insufficient funds. And this poor gal's just trying to work her job, saying she doesn't want to get into it, just working the cash register. And the person, the trans activist, they're saying, it didn't say that. So perhaps that was a point. Well, I mean, it's always embarrassing when your card gets declined or when your utilities get shut off. And perhaps that's what sparked the initial aggressive behavior. Now this person is, accusing this gentleman of being transphobic, saying he's evil, saying F you. and then they finally leave. But yet, again, when you're coming across these challenging situations, and granted, it's not just for these types of situations where it's a trans activist. It's just anything customer service. You always just want to maintain your cool, take out your phone, and it's a true test of character. It's rough. I've been there, and you have to say, appreciate it. Hope have a great day. And because again, if you do anything aggressive, you use anything bombastic language, more often, even if you respond with equal aggression as a person, you have to be the bigger person. Thankfully, this gentleman was moderately tended. He's a little bit of a larger gentleman, but he was able to maintain composure, record the incident so he has his side of the story. And I mean, if anything, I think Dollar General might give him a raise because, again, that's not easy. You're working on your job. You have to deal with your regular responsibilities. Then you have all these other variables that are tossed onto it. Now, this is first reported thanks to Clown World. And again, I apologize. I'm not sure. Let me know. Have you seen this on your end in terms of anecdotal evidence with X Twitter having some issues? It's been the past couple of weeks. I don't think it's coincidence. I'm also getting dozens of followers on X Twitter for the Topping Show, and they're all beautiful women. I know the cards I was dealt in life. They're not real. They're not real people. I did check out their profiles. They're all profiles that have been created within the past 2 to 3 days. So I can't help but think there's just a huge influx of bots. Is it working now?
Oh, this is Quentin at the Dollar General in Pflugerville. What did you say, Quentin? You called me a she/her?
I don't know what.
And you said to get the fuck out because your system's...
I don't know what you said, man. Go on somewhere.
Oh, no, what'd you call me? Please, Quentin. Please feel free to tell me what you called me.
We can play this game all day.
Oh, what game? Where you're being transphobic and offensive because your system's not working, and I asked if we could use another register, and you said get the fuck out of here?
This fellow here is giving me a hard time here at the Dollar General.
All right,
doesn't want to leave because their card is declined because...
My card did not decline. It did not say insufficient funds. What did it say, ma'am? Did my card say insufficient funds, or did it say that your system's not working? No, I'm serious, because this isn't cool.
Is it okay if I check out?
Anyway, this is not... It did not say insufficient funds, sir. What did it fucking say? It said no checking account. What does that mean? It did not say insufficient funds. We're going back to your transphobia. What did you say to me, sir? You giving me a hard time here before at this place. What did you say to me? Keep filming.
Stay calm.
Here. You cussed at me. You said, fuck you. You're going to lose your job, sir. Have a good one. I guarantee that.
Well, at least it looks like it worked at the end, so we did get to actually see and hear it. Although, truth be told, I don't know why now. It looks like I'm a little bit blurry. So I need the camera... did I fix it? Alright. Hilarious enough, I actually never get too upset when there's issues with IT. Truth be told, that's about half my job for my tech company. So, interesting enough, again, guy maintained his composure, stayed calm. Shoot, if I was a Dollar General manager, give him a raise. Or a bonus, just for principle. Just saying, appreciate you maintaining your composure. You did the right thing, didn't escalate the situation. At the end of the day, everyone was safe. Now, they got 5.8 million views in the first 48 hours, which is quite a few. Now, it also got 39,000 likes, although maybe 40? No, okay, so I wasn't the extra like needed to get over that hump to the 40,000. Well,
at the Dollar General.
Again, another funny joke in IT. Some people say it's a bug, some people say it's a feature. I'm not sure why it automatically replays sometimes. Does it do it to you? Now, some of the top comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, I love how the real woman behind the cash register had absolutely no interest in even considering with this man pretending to be a woman. And yeah, the trans person is just another narcissist causing trouble to feed their ego. Such wasted energy, unquote, getting 596 likes. Let's see here. Common Sense Prevails says, quote, I'd play her this song next time. It's 37 seconds. What is it? Oh, there's no... not volume. Volume's not working. Got 2.8 thousand likes for that. Miss Bigglesworth memes, A+ marketing, they responded in meme form. Sometimes they don't. They say this is so fun to do. It says how to calm a trans woman, and someone's saying you need to calm down, sir. You got 4.5 thousand likes. Sandy says, quote, it's not phobia, and it's hard to swallow pills. Says refusing to indulge another person's psychosis. Oh, that's what it is. Again, if you click the subscribe button, it may assist with my speaking ineptitudes. Believe it or not, when I had no subscribers, I stumbled over my words even more, and I spoke even faster, believe it or not. So, This is a modicum of improvement thanks to, I think, the increase in subscribers, and I think that theory will pan out. So if you can click that button, I really appreciate it. And it's juxtaposed the image saying refusing to indulge another person's, saying it's not phobia, getting 8.9 thousand likes, which, again, I think this individual, maybe they just freaked out, and as youth might say, grandpa might say, they went off the rails, because it is such a stressful situation when you don't have funds in your account. I mean, one of the top 15, top 20, dark times of my life is when I actually was working my first job out of college, and, I had an instance where I went to pay for groceries, and the card got declined. And I mean, nowadays I track all my expenses to the penny, and I had an Excel sheet tracking my expenses back then, but I just didn't have the money in my account, and I had to return some of the items so I could afford to get some groceries. And now, granted, I'm not a very bombastic person in terms of I don't get too upset, and like retail workers or anything like that. So I didn't freak out in that case, but it was a very stressful moment, and it was, really, it didn't feel great. Maybe this person I'm guessing maybe that's what triggered the situation. Now, Brano says, quote, they aren't fooling anyone. It says LGBTQ plus victims, showing the world who is oppressing them. It's a picture of a kid with a shoe on their face. And then when they zoom out, the kid is actually using his own hand and pushing the boot on his own face. They got 3.3 thousand likes, and I mean, as a society and culturally speaking in the United States, pretty much every major business accepts most ideologies, especially when it comes to the LGBTQ. It's one of the, or Q plus. It's one of those things where most businesses, I always tell people when it comes to hiring practices, when you're trying to expand a company, you want to get the best talent. That means you want the largest sample size of prospective new hires. So I mean, those best companies are going to take those resumes. And most of these companies actually have specific programs to assist people with those types of beliefs, those types of lifestyles. So again, I know there's a couple of people who are discriminating. You're never going to get rid of discrimination completely. You can make it more and more socially unpalatable, as I think it has in large part in the United States. But yeah, they do have a lot more support than they advertise. They got 3.3 thousand likes. Let's see here. National Review, it's an ad. Hey, it's the GameStop thing I was referencing. And it's Mark saying, quote, let's see who was recording. And it's a GameStop trans woman. Again, this is all new to me. I need to use Urban Dictionary more to understand which one is which. But it says, it is ma'am, and that scared, those GameStop employees look scared crapless. I mean, this is a big, Google will censor this video. We'll get 2 views maybe in part because of my statement here. But that's a big guy dressed as a woman or believes he's a woman. And those games, I mean, the frame, those shoulders those are some shoulders. Masculine shoulders. And those GameStop employees look terrified that they're going to have to just be assaulted. I got 2.3 thousand likes. Yeah, Pismo saying, quote, imagine your card getting declined at the dollar store. Which, that got 5.2 thousand likes, which, and that is a little depressing. Now that I think about it too. Now granted, it's not, I think it's $1.25 nowadays because of the inflation caused by our government, in most part. The dollar stores, both the Dollar General and the main competitor being Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, that entity is now one. Most of their items are now $1.25. I got 5.2 thousand likes. MMA Chick says, quote, attention trans people, we are not afraid of you. Stop saying transphobia. Thank you. Getting 1.1 thousand like. And yeah, for the most part, I don't know anyone who's actually afraid of anyone. Well, for the most part. Let's see. Adam Amnut Salon says, make the Civil War easy. And there's a picture of a toad drinking, is it Elon Musk? Or some angry looking face. Is that coffee? And it says, when your enemies are cutting their own dicks off. I got 1,000 likes. Scrolling down more and more, you have Red Wave Press saying, quote, trans people always make everything about themselves. What a disgusting individual. Follow if you agree, getting 628 likes. Trump.ai says, quote, trans people are the worst, getting 1,000 likes. Memes and libs, they responded in text form, not a meme form, but nevertheless, memes and libs says, quote, LOL, maybe he could focus more on a job instead of which gender he is, since his credit card is being declined at Dollar General. Laughy emoji, laughy emoji. They got 448 likes. Let's see here. Prophecy 13 says, quote, the amount of pain that's caused by the embarrassment of your card getting declined at the dollar store is far worse than your gender confusion. got 974 likes. So it looks like overwhelming positive response for the Dollar General employee. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any good memes left. A couple more advertisements, which I guess I don't have. Jake says, is the airplane girl says, this man is not real. And it says this man. I got 61 likes. Let's see here. The purple hair meme. Or blue hair. Well, Seinfeld memes are always pretty good. So it's a guy sitting naked on the subway. It was a Seinfeld episode where the guy was a nudist, I think. He's proud of it. He's morbidly obese as well. And they put the picture of the, almost like the crayon drawing quality picture of the, I think he's a man with blue and purple hair and a pink t-shirt collar. And it says, I'm not ashamed of myself. And Jerry goes, well, it might be embarrassingly bad, but I will attempt a Jerry Seinfeld type of voice. We'll see. Exactly. That's the problem. You should be. Exactly. That's the problem. You should be. It's not too bad. It's not my worst. Is it better than is it worse than my Trump impression? That's the real question. Let me know in the comments. That did get 138 likes, which, yeah, I think more and more you're kind of seeing the cultural pendulum kind of swing back. I mean, no one is. I don't think a lot of people are scared of these types of people. And I think a lot of people are just starting to feel bad for retail folks. Because, again, it's not an easy job. And you're having people come up and just verbally assault you. I mean, no matter what, it's just like the people who are protesting by sitting in the middle of the street. You're not helping your cause, whatever your cause may be. It's not helping promulgate your ideals. I mean, traditionally, the best way to win over hearts and minds is, stay calm, talk to folks, build common ground, and just kind of tell them, well, here's, reasons A, B, and C, or 1, 2, 3, of why I believe my prescription to fix a problem is more effective. Listen, and you very well may have more in common than not. When it comes to these topics, I'm not sure how much common ground there is. Depends. I mean, the big controversy is forcing people to use pronouns and forcing people having compelled speech, which in some countries is a law. You actually go to jail if you don't do it. Now, thank God in the United States you have things like the Bill of Rights, which unfortunately few of your Americans know about, but you do have freedom of speech. Now, with the current Supreme Court, I don't think it will ever have compelled speech. That being said, you can still lose your job if you don't properly, in their mind, properly use their pronouns. We've seen this with Planet Fitness, where people are getting fired, and you actually have customers getting kicked out because of it. So let me know, do you think this year will we see a cultural pendulum swing back, where the pronouns become less popular? Now, anecdotally, kind of looking at social media and business landscape, a lot of it almost seems like there's an increase. LinkedIn has their own special section where you can add your pronouns. It's very common on businesses to have their signature with their pronouns included. So anecdotally, when I look around, I see it's about the same or even a little more popular than it was in the past 12, 24, 36 months. But let me know, as always. It'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political podcast, you have the FTC banning non-compete clauses, which is yet another reason, and the age-old saying, you might not be interested in politics, but politics is very much interested in you. Well, they also steal a majority of your dollar that every time you earn, or for every dollar you earn, most of it is stolen, taxed between the state and federal government, but I partially digress. Now, this is coming to us thanks to LinkedIn, and specifically is a writer by the name of Kara Reinhart, and she says, quote, the FTC has voted to make non-compete agreements illegal across the country. If approved, a rule banning new non-competes would prevent workers from taking a job with a rival, which prevent workers from taking a job with a rival or starting their own venture or for a certain amount of time. However, with the Chamber of Commerce poised to file a lawsuit, it's likely to take effect for many years. It's unlikely to take effect for many years. Axios says employers originally used non-competes to keep high-level executives from taking insider information to competitors. But these days, even lower-income workers and healthcare providers are asked to sign them. Now, a lot of people think this is a good thing. And again, look at all sides of the situation, gain as much data as possible. So I always tell people, tune into everything you can if you want to research a topic or opinion on something, and so you form your opinion appropriately or accordingly with your value system taken into account, of course. Now, I can't help but think this is going to be extremely bad for a lot of small and medium-sized companies, especially when it's a cliche thing, but every company has sales reps. Every company has sales, except even the government. They got the IRS, so I guess you could count that as sales. But it's an instance where this could be very disruptive, especially for small businesses, if they have one rep leaves who, again, the 80-20 principle in business, and many things to be true, the truth be told, it's called 80-20 principle because 80% of your results will come from 20% of your efforts. So if you have 100 clients, well, 20 of them will basically perform 80% of your revenue. Rudimentarily said, that's usually how it goes. And imagine if you're a small business and you have non-competes in place, and traditionally, usually they last, I want to say 12, 24 months on average, and there's some carve-outs. But the downside is, what if that business, that employee they choose to leave on their own? What if they take those clients, and what if they take other clients from other sales reps at that business? Before you know it, that could just kneecap a company and take them off the market. They go out of business. Now, granted, a wise man, I don't agree with everything he says, but I do like Richard Branson's philosophy where he says, train everyone to the point where they could leave, but treat them in a way so that they would never want to. Which, again, I'm absolutely agree in that methodology. Now, from my perspective, owning small businesses, I see the downside of this being tremendous. Because again, you could lose those key clients. You can lose them, just go out of business. Not over. In some cases, yeah, even conceivably overnight. So people think the public perception around a lot of these non-competes is it's only for CEOs and CFOs and people at the executive level at these Fortune 500 companies. No, even mom and pop shops that I work with, we have a couple. Again, working in IT security, you can't really tell people who your clients are unless you get a specific use case approved. Kind of the downside of working with cool clients, you can never really tell folks about them for the most part. But even folks that we work with, and we work with everyone from mom and pop shops to Fortune 500 companies, they all have very similar policies, believe it or not, when it comes to non-competes and NDAs. Because of these specific reasons, it can be detrimental to the business. And all of a sudden, let's say you lose that one sales rep who's contributing 8% of the revenue to the company. Well, that's paying for all the other employees. That's paying for the accountant. That's paying for the marketing manager. It's paying for the business development representative. There's a huge ripple effect. And especially, there's also other issues with not just, sales is perhaps one of the most rudimentary, simple things to, I think, relate to many people because it's a very simple, relatively simple concept, even for business-to-business sales. But you also have instances with intellectual property. Even manufacturing processes, you have different sales philosophies, you have manufacturing philosophies, coaching philosophies. Yeah, there's a lot of intellectual property that is also at stake. Now, this might cause people to bolster the breadth of their non-disclosure agreements or their NDAs, but interestingly enough, a lot of people are saying this is an exceptionally good thing, and I think that's because, again, for certain people, it will be very advantageous, but again, when you're looking at the ripple effect in the big picture, I actually see this as being more of a net negative than a net positive when taking everything into account. Of course, I'm biased. I have my own couple small companies, and we use them for certain instances to protect us. But look at LinkedIn. And granted, LinkedIn on average is, I'd say, more politically left. And scrolling down more and more, let's see here. Overwhelming positive results. A lot of people are liking this, I think, because again, for the individual, it's going to be huge. Fascinating enough, we have a lot of industries talking about this. So you have a couple of folks that are in even the surgery industry. You have a couple tech folks that are kind of giving their 2 cents. A couple of tax-related companies as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, it's already challenged. Lawsuits against government are already being filed. And it'll be interesting to see what the ripple effect is and how long it actually stands. But just can't help but see more and more of these laws kneecapping businesses throughout the years as opposed to actually helping them. But let me know, do you think this will actually be a net positive for everyone? Are you very happy that maybe this will give you a new opportunity to do something else? Or, as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have a Biden rally with about 15 people there, which means, not to brag, but one time one of my videos this week got 24 people to tune in, and 3 likes, I think. Not to brag, but I am a little bit better than Biden, I guess, on the social media or in that regard. And 1 or 2 people might say I'm a little bit more articulate with my words. It's a low bar, I know, but it could be worse. Now, this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson over at X Twitter, and he says, quote, There are literally tens of students waiting to see Joe Biden in Tampa right now. So much energy. Let's see here. This might be the most depressing instance of Tampa, Florida. Let me see here. Actually, don't think there's volume for the specific one. How many? Let's count the students. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is it? I guess these students may be logging in class. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I misspoke. 16? Is that it? And not a single hat in sight or flag. Which, again, the Biden administration is terrible at marketing. I mean, I don't know who's doing their marketing right now, but I've never seen a Biden flag or a hat. And I mean, those are just the simplest of staples when it comes to political advertising. T-shirts also help, mugs, any knickknack you could throw a logo on and, you know, tell people where your top 3 policies or top 3 things you think will win over prospective voters. And, I mean, that's where Trump wins in spades. That hat is... You'll never see a red hat again in your life without thinking of Donald Trump. It is brilliant. I mean, even Obama had the same instance where you need an articulate saying or mantra to get people to rally around. I mean, Obama's is hope and change, which he certainly did change things. And Trump, of course, is make America great again, which resonates, quite literally, resonates with millions upon millions of people. It's brilliant marketing. It works. Now, again, that's about, what was it, 16 people total? And some of them just look like they're walking between classes. And quite embarrassing. It's got, well, embarrassing for the administration. It's got 1.9 million views, as well as 46,000 likes. So as youth might say, it went viral to say the least. And yeah, I mean, I know you can hire protesters, you can hire people to actually, you know, be at your rallies. They got copious amounts of capital. Why not hire a couple folks just to hold a banner or something? It's almost, I mean, it's embarrassing. And one of the first comments comes from, what is this? I'm no angel, saying, quote, wonder why NBC poll, which candidate is better? Handling a crisis, Trump +4. Strong record as president, Trump +7. Competent and effective, Trump +9. Necessary mental and physical health, Trump +19. Dealing with inflation and cost of living, Trump +22. And this is an NBC poll, and I mean, MSNBC is really no fan of Trump. Which, I mean, even they are giving, I mean, these polls, and granted, this isn't great, they're not giving us the sample size or the demographics or the geography. I mean, polls can be, there's a little nuance to them, a lot of unknown variables. Now, that got 108 likes. Let's see here. Sure Khan says, quote, agree, and it's a picture of Trump, and says, quote, ever notice that Biden supporters never post anything pro-Biden? It's all just anti-Trump. Unquote, getting 827 likes. Now, that being said, I think a couple people start to post things that they're happy that Biden is buying out their student loans out. I know there are a lot of people who are happy about that. Now, but this is to get 827 likes. But for the most part, you don't see a lot of people talking about like the top 3 or 4 things that Biden has done. I know one of the big topics that he was taking credit for was the capping prices on insulin. But spoiler alert, Trump did that. So Trump proposed it, he had Trump set it up, Biden killed it, then he brought it back to life, then he took credit. And truth be told, on social media, Biden, you know, posted that, but the majority of the comments were all just showing screenshots of Trump doing it first and making comics rather, that appropriately roast him, as youth might say. Let's see. Alec Lace says, quote, meanwhile, now Donald Trump returns to Trump Tower after 6 days of Biden's trial. People line the streets everywhere he goes just to catch a glimpse of the former and future president. And let's see here. Now, readers add context. This video is not from April 23rd, 2024 in Manhattan near Trump Tower. The real footage can be found with the link below. Let's see how we go to that link. So this is from the Clear Cider. And they say, what Trump called for mass supporters, a mass protest is crimes, no one showed up. Let's see here. So this is saying, claiming that the streets were empty for Trump? Let's see here. And they got 836 likes. Let's see here. Readers add context. Let's see here. Trump Daily Post. That's another reference that they had. And it was a great honor. Trump says it's a great honor to welcome former Japanese Prime Minister Taro Aso at Trump Tower this evening. I wonder, do they show the crowd, or why is this a reference? Huh? I mean, that's in the reader's ad context. Let's see, that's an advertisement. Drazerian? Talk about a weird name. Almost as weird as someone being called Topping. Oh wait, I digress. Now Drago says, quote, this guy, and it says, this is what dementia looks like. And it looks like Joe Biden just looking around confused. I got 314 likes. Red Wave Press also says, quote, Joe Biden is trying to buy young voters. Looks like it's not working out well. No one is excited to vote for Joe Biden. Followed with you agree, getting 228 likes. Patriots just have a gif of Biden looking moderately confused. Getting 44 likes. Bruce Blau says, quote, it gets more populated when you add up each of their multiple personalities. That's a good burn. I got 901 likes. Is this a contrarian statement? We have Kurt Hasselhoff? Really? I wonder if it's is it the son of the David Hasselhoff? Maybe? Now, he says, quote, Joe Biden flew in Air Force One to give a 13-minute speech in Tampa to a low-intended audience like this. By the way, who's he waving to as his back is turned to the people? All right, so it looks like a lot of people. Well, there's a crowd there. It says reproductive freedom, which is really just their definition of abortion, which framing is key when it comes to politics. I mean, that sounds a lot better than just, killing kids at 9 months. That's a lot more unpalatable for a majority of Americans. But if you frame it as reproductive rights, that buzzword is a lot more effective. Which, again, that's good political marketing. I got 122 likes. Elon Musk Citizen Journal parody says, quote, I see 81 million voters, getting 174 likes. Chloe, reputant North Carolinian, said nothing changed. There's a picture of like 12 people listening to Biden speak when you had the pandemic and they all had circles around them. They got 207 likes. Rob Coates says, quote, dude has no support. No wonder they're trying to lock up Trump. That's the only way they can win. Unquote, getting 433 likes. I mean, I think he has millions of support, well, fiscally as well as, people. But I don't see people to go see him give an inspirational speech or go to a rally. I mean, there are people who are going to vote for Biden just because they hate Trump, or just because Biden is Democrat. I mean, he will get millions of votes just on that alone. Now, that being said, it is fascinating to see the discrepancy between the amount of votes and the actual physical participation in his rallies. Let's see. Sherry says tens. LOL. Biden can't fit in elementary school gymnasium, getting 128 likes. C Club Martini American flag emoji. He's a seasoned Texan. But where's your Texas flag, sir? And where's your Texas hat? We'll say his alleged seasoned Texan. Says, quote, 81 million votes my arse. So I guess he's British too? We're just trying to be fancy. Got 256 likes. Oddly enough, someone just said, pavers look good, great pillar looks great. I got 243 likes, which is another fun reminder to like this video. It'd be fascinating if we can get more likes than a well-made column made of bricks. I mean, that's pretty good work craftsmanship. So, let's see. Sigma says, it looks like a Photoshop picture of, what is that little guy? Kid Rock? I think he's a grandpa, but he says, I've never been fondled by Donald Trump, but I've been screwed by Joe Biden. Got 66 likes. So, an interesting juxtaposition between, the amount of people who are voting for him versus the amount of people who are showing up to the rallies. And again, a lot of people who don't have time, go to rallies, I guess, but I mean, are you surprised that there's not a lot? And more importantly, what are they going to do to energize the rallies and get people excited to vote for them? Because you're going to have to do something. They're pulling out all the stops. They got Obama, they've got Clinton, at some of these events trying to churn up more donations and get more people excited. But I'm not sure there's enough people actually win this time around. Let me know. It's always be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Biden saying the government can't be trusted. A gaffe, perhaps a Freudian slip. Now this comes to us thanks to X-Twitter. Specifically, you have Charlie Kirk. Pull it up really quick. And he says, ha, Biden accidentally tells the truth when speaking of President Trump. Quote, how many times does he have to prove that we can't be trusted? Unquote, just perfect. The real question is, will the volume work this time? time shall tell. That time being right now. Now, in full transparency, I don't think Joe is actually stuttering. This is just Twitter not working. It's like an old car. Come on, yeah, man. Yeah, the Twitter. It says media cannot be played.
Why we're surprised by
Okay.
Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
So, at least for marketing, he does get some points for wearing a suit. As we all know, men always look best when they suit up, and he, or more accurately, his helpers, did put a suit on him. But perhaps saying the quiet part out loud, a gaffe, but definitely doesn't look good. And this comes to us first, I guess it was first shown by RNC Research. And this got 676,000 views and 35,000 likes within the first 24 hours or this week. Oh, one of the first responses comes from Trump.ai. He says, quote, "That's why they don't let Biden speak too often," unquote, getting 477 likes, which Charlie Kirk responded with a target with an arrow in it saying 200, what does it say? Yeah, I got 217 likes. I might be biased, but I think this next comment is the most handsome of all. It comes from The Topping Show saying, a Freudian slip, and a picture of, what is it, a gif of Freud. Now, interestingly enough, one person did like that. So, a personal record for one of my responses, I got 1 like. That's not nothing. I mean, technically, that's infinite. That's an infinite increase in likes from going from 0 to 1. But and it also got 4 views. Golly, as you might say, I went viral there. Now, in all seriousness, go to the other comments that actually have views and likes. Now, Alec Lace says the real reason Trump is on trial, and says waiting for Biden, and is a video juxtapose of waiting for Trump. Is actually what we covered in the previous segment of the show, where again, fact check, I believe. So they're saying the one on the right for the Trump rally was not the specific date earlier this week, but apparently it was maybe from a couple years ago. I got 450 likes for that juxtaposition of those 2 videos. Now that being said, I was gonna say it's working when I don't want it to work, and not working when I want it to work for the Twitter X technology. But even regardless of the time, it's still, people waiting for Biden versus people waiting for Trump, or lack thereof for Biden. I got 450 likes. You also have Sherry saying, quote, "Same when he said they built the most comprehensive voter fraud network," getting 256 likes. Philip Anderson says, quote, "When you're so senile that you campaign for the other candidate," clown emoji, getting 245 likes. Glenda says, quote, "Remember when he admitted to voter fraud too? He does tell the truth once in a while," getting 129 likes. Meefy63 says fact, and is a meme of Lisa Simpson saying, it was like the presentation one, where the backdrop of the presentation says, quote, "The deep state is just a giant network of blackmailed pedos," getting 99 likes. Let's see here. Hard Truth says womp womp, and it looks like, what is this? Approval with Fox News poll, but I'm guessing it's doctored because it says economy 0% approve of Joe, 100% disapprove. Same thing with inflation and immigration. Got 24 likes. Let's see here. Sandra Loftus says, and yet, it looks like a meme from Monsters Inc. That's an old one. And it says Democrats confident that they'll win despite the polls. It's like this says they're confident monsters, and it says voter fraud. It got 44 likes. So yeah, there's a reason let's see here. Jericho says, quote, "He was slurring worse than Pelosi does before noon. His meds must have worn off, or he has just become more immune to them. It's going to take more, and eventually they won't work at all," getting 56 likes. Yeah, Lord only knows how many drugs he's on. Let's see, Pat Clouden says, quote, or it's a meme of Biden, says, "I'm literally destroying the country, and there's idiots that will still support me," getting 69 likes. And he is eating his ice cream, which we all know the reporters that's one of the heavy-hitting questions that reporters give him is, what's your favorite flavor ice cream? The media asking the real hard questions of Biden. So it will be interesting to see, how much public speaking does he do, or how much does he just campaign from his basement with, which again, that worked in 2020. I don't even think he went out of his basement more than 3 times. But there's so much visceral hate for Trump, and there are some people, of course, who do legitimately like Biden for his accomplishments. But let me know, what kind of campaign mechanism or tactic will Biden have to do? It almost seems he might win. They're trying to bring out Trump more and more, which did work in 2020. All the focus was on Trump. But what's going to work this year for Biden? Can anything work? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Pirch declaring bankruptcy. Now it looks like they were a luxury appliance manufacturer. Pulling it up right here, thanks to thestreet.com. And this is thanks to Kirk O'Neill. They note that specifically, quote, luxury appliance retailer files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy to liquidate. And unfortunately, it looks like that means, of course, it's going to shut down showrooms and completely get rid of assets. Now, they note that specifically, let's see, the retailer's demise came from 2023, February, when they started to lose a lot of their brick and mortar locations with their partners, since they also had a indirect sales model. So they didn't just sell with their direct stores. Very similar to Nike. They also have other stores that they partner with that they'll actually sell on their behalf, or they sell to the store and the store sells to you. Now, looks like they're mainly known for a couple of their fancy appliances. Store at least has really good architecture in terms of the design of the store. Now, pulling down more and more, they say that, quote, the Vista California debtor filed its petition to the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of California in San Diego, listing $100 million to $500 million in liabilities and $10 million to $50 million in assets in its petition. Again, that means they basically owe between $100 million and $500 million, but the things that they actually own in terms of value is around $10 to $50 million. So there's no conceivable way they can pay it off with the current assets that they have. Now, they note that earlier this week, March 24th, they closing all their showrooms. This pause will give the business to management the opportunity to completely go forth with the plan. When asked for comments, they say, quote, we are navigating through various options. We take this situation seriously and are working diligently to resolve it. We appreciate your patience while I work to find a path forward. We intend to share the go-forward plan later this month. The message concluded with the list of email addresses for answering customer returns. And let's see here. Seeking $33 million credit. I think we're going to see a lot of these items that are more mid to, a lot of the mid luxury items where, again, you really don't need. There's no compelling reason to buy these things. Don't get me wrong, they're nice, but they're luxury items. I mean, again, when you have 40-year hyperinflation, unprecedented economic political uncertainty, people losing their jobs left and right, one of the easiest things to cut is if you're redoing your kitchen, you're getting another appliance, do you want to get the most premium one? Why? Maybe just temporary, you get something, more of an aggressive price point product, and maybe get it from Walmart. So it is unfortunate. Hopefully the people whose jobs are affected by this are able to find some other new roles where they can excel in. So hopefully there's not too much of a gap between the roles. But it's unfortunate to see the company going in business. I'm not sure if the brand will stay around in terms of will creditors turn it around or reinvigorate the brand by investing into it. But unfortunately, it looks like Pirch is going to be gone at the end of the day, most likely. And that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight,